The Democratic Alliance will today be submitting the findings of the Zondo Commission as supplementary evidence in their 2019 criminal racketeering case against the African National Congress. Now, in 2019, the DA approached the National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Shamiha Batohi, requesting that she proceed with charging the ANC as a collective organization with the crimes of fraud, corruption, money laundering and racketeering as per the Prevention of Organised Crime Act. Newzroom Afrika's Athi Mtongana joins us live for more on this story. Athi, a very good morning to you. Talk to us about how this process will unfold.
Well, I do have the other spokesperson of the Democratic Alliance who's going to elaborate on this matter. We're standing outside the South African police station in Cape Town, where they're going to be obviously presenting these additional findings of the Zondo Commission. You might recall, of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa receiving the final report of the Zondo Commission. And you might have heard from some legal experts saying that some of the recommendations and the findings in the Zondo Commission report are not necessarily binding, and that is why, for instance, even the president has been given 4 months to look through the recommendations and the findings to see how actually he will implement some of the recommendations in these reports. And so some of the legal experts coming out to say they're not legally binding until actually, of course, the law enforcement agencies like the South African Police and the NPA actually go ahead with the prosecutions, and as far as the evidence that has been collected by the Zondo Commission. So bringing then the spokesperson of the DA, I just want to talk to you about, perhaps take us back to your initial complaint in 2019.
So in 2019, the Democratic Alliance wrote to the head of the prosecuting authority, Advocate Batohi, asking for an investigation into the African National Congress as an organization. So charges in terms of the Combating of Corrupt Activities Act against the ANC, which would of course be unprecedented but entirely legally possible under our law. Since we've had the findings of the Zondo Commission, which the DA believes strikes at the heart of this criminal syndicate called the ANC, but for that strike to be effective, prosecution and arrests must now follow. Now, we understand that the Zondo Commission doesn't have binding force, but it has produced evidentiary material, which becomes very important. And I believe that South Africans are now looking to law enforcement and prosecuting authorities to make sure that what the Zondo Commission has found is in fact acted on.
Mr. Brink, I'm interested to find out what has been done then since 2019.
So effectively, the head of the prosecuting authority did not respond at all to our request back in 2019. There hasn't been any effective action, at least.
What evidence did you have then?
Well, we wanted an investigation to take place. We believed that there was sufficient in the public space to justify such an investigation. But as I mentioned, now the Zondo Commission has confirmed material suspicions, the link between the ANC and Bosasa, the link between Bosasa and individuals inside the ANC, Gwede Mantashe, Cedric Frolic, Nomvula Mokonyane, and also the findings of the Zondo Commission on the ANC policy of cadre deployment, which we believe is at the heart of state capture.
The DA has often ran to the law enforcement agencies and courts for many instances. Now, I'm interested to find out, if nothing was done since 2019 and you're now producing the evidence of the Zondo Commission, how hastily do you think law enforcement will be able to act on the criminal charges that you're coming to lay here?
So I think the Zondo Commission and its findings has had a force and an effect in South African public life which is unprecedented. If before there were only suspicions, now we have evidentiary material to back up those suspicions. And I think ordinary South Africans, especially those sitting in the midst of frustration and anger with stage 6 load shedding, would want to have effective action taken against the people and the organizations responsible for the breakdown of state institutions. So I think Zondo is definitely a turning point in South African public life.
Now, before I let you go, Mr. Silas Brink, I just want to find out, because the DA is part of Parliament, and some of the recommendations and the findings in this latest report that was issued to the President find that Parliament was lacking, almost like sleeping in playing its oversight role and constitutional role. So what are you then doing as a party that's in the National Assembly, having been found to have not been playing your oversight role?
So I think the Zondo report referred specifically to attempts made by the Democratic Alliance to have state capture investigated at an earlier stage, and the ANC majority in Parliament rejecting that. So if there is a criticism of Parliament and its handling of investigations into state capture, that is a criticism of the ANC majority.
So do you think there's going to be political will now for them to not resist if you bring up those kind of requests again?
Well, I think the difference between now and 2016 is the ANC has weakened considerably. The public sympathy for the ANC has dissipated in many respects. We are stronger, the ANC is weaker, and I think the public demand now, following the findings of Zondo, and experiencing the effects of state capture, the public demand that effective action be taken.
Silas Brink, thank you so much for your time. The other spokesperson of the Democratic Alliance nationally, bringing us some of the issues that they will be obviously presenting before the police this morning. Natasha Mazone, who is the chief whip of the Democratic Alliance, will be in conversation with me later after laying those criminal charges against the ANC.
Very well. Athi Mtongana, let's leave it there for now. Of course, as we continue to monitor the developments throughout the course of the day around this matter.